What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Fantasy Football Outsiders Show. I'm here with the crew, the Outsiders. Julian, Jake, Grant, Ryan, and Stefan.
You already know.
How we feeling, guys?
Fantastic.
Pretty good.
Yeah. So we're gonna be talking about Week 3, big week coming up. But first, we're gonna start with the Thursday night recap. So how'd you guys feel about that game?
I felt great.
Yeah, big win for the Dolphins.
Who would have thought the Dolphins would have won by that much, though?
It looked like a different team.
People probably were going to take the Jags in this game.
Yeah.
I thought.
I took the Jags.
Go ahead.
Thanks. I thought the game was going to be boring, honestly, because you got two trash teams, but it was low-key interesting. I was glued to the screen.
Last week, I was telling you guys Gardner Minshew was a pickup, but he was harassed by that Dolphins defense.
He was getting sacked, interceptions left and right.
He was an instant drop.
He did have over 270 yards passing, but that was pretty much it.
They couldn't produce anything on offense. That game was over for a while.
It was all James Robinson with those two TDs for them.
Bro, and that's another dude. Like, at the beginning of the year, I had him on my roster, and I was like, oh yeah, like, this guy could be the dude, right?
Yeah.
But then, like, he's one of those guys where you look at the name and he doesn't really have a lot of college to back up, like, to warrant a full workload in the NFL. So it's like, is he really going to be a star? So I dropped him, and now look at him.
Well, the other thing is he had 46 yards. So, like...
Did he have 11 carries, or did he get
He had
more?
11 carries.
So that's not a lot of...
It's not a lot of yards.
Yeah, that's not a lot of volume either.
No, not a lot of volume.
So he finished with 11 carries for 46 yards with 2 TDs, but the big thing was he had 6 catches for 83 yards, which we're in a half PPR league.
Huge upside.
27.9 and was the number one person for the Thursday night game. And then Myles Gaskin, 22 rushes for 66 yards, had a decent game, finished with 12 points. And then honestly, kind of the biggest surprise was Fitzpatrick. 38 rushing yards and a touchdown and 160 yards.
Fitzmagic, bro. More like Fitzmagic.
We know about Fitzmagic.
Every year,
there's
like a week 2 or 3 game that Fitzmagic is starting in wherever team he's on.
Yep.
And he's just, usually you expect like 400 yards, 3 touchdowns out of him. But, I mean, just another iconic primetime Fitzmagic moment.
He was moving the feet.
For the beard.
It's crazy he's like that.
Wheels.
And been like that.
I feel like you can play him week to week depending on on the matchup. If you get a good matchup, I think you can expect like 20 points out of him, and that's
as a stream though.
As a stream, absolutely.
It's still a hard
if you can't
start.
find like a quarterback,
Or you have a quarterback injury, or
exactly.
come up on
if
one.
The
He could be a guy to stream.
Right, Fitzpatrick's worth the stream, I think.
I mean, it showed tonight with 24.7 points, which
If you get
a good amount of
if you
points
get over
for,
20 from your QB, you're like, all right, that was a solid game for that guy, like very above average.
Definitely.
That'll do.
Yeah,
So-
that'll do.
So going into the biggest matchups of the week. So I think for the 10 o'clock games, the biggest matchup is definitely the Buffalo and the Rams game.
I think that's an absolute shootout.
Yeah.
That's going to be a good one.
A lot of good fantasy players.
Yeah.
Cooper Kupp, Stephon Diggs.
Lots of implications on that
Lots.
game. A lot of
Is
people.
Cooper Kupp going to do anything in that game, though?
Some tough matchups.
A lot of tough match. Good defenses.
At each position, yeah.
Tyler Higbee.
For sure.
Tyler Higbee.
Defenses.
Josh Allen.
Honestly, Tyler Higbee might
Go off.
not go off, but
If Tremaine Edmonds is playing, that could be tough. But
Really?
he was out last week.
Yeah.
I don't really know what's up with them.
That game could be, easily like a 10-7 game.
yeah, or it could be a 30-33 game.
It could be a 40 to 37
I really
game.
don't
It
think
could be
there's in
close.
between for that one.
Yeah.
I think it's either going to be the offense going crazy or the defense making.
And you'll know
every
within
stop.
the first 5 minutes of watching that game what it's going to be.
Yeah.
You'll know.
Definitely. I think another big 10 o'clock game is the Atlanta-Chicago game. That could be a shootout, but that could also...
I was so close. So for our segment later for Lock of the Week, I was so close to picking Atlanta.
Yeah.
Only for this reason. Because Matt Ryan had almost 500 passing yards last week, and the Bears' defense isn't what it used to be, and Matt Ryan can just produce whenever he wants. And how is Mitchell Trubisky going to uphold Matt Ryan's production? Like if they win, they have to battle each other out.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And he can't hang with Matt Ryan. Not at this point in his career.
Atlanta's got way more offensive firepower.
But can Todd Gurley hang?
Yeah.
Man.
Can Todd Gurley hang? Can
That
Mitch
Todd
Trubisky
Gurley
hang
guy,
too?
he got 11 carries in the first game. He got 21 in the second game.
Yeah.
And in week 2, he only had like 61 yards, no catches in either week. it's pretty surprising to see him like not be involved in the pass offense, but they just have so many other guys to throw the ball to.
Yeah,
That's
true.
they do. So going into the 1:00 games, I think the biggest 1:00 game is definitely Seattle and Dallas.
Yeah, that's a crazy.
Yeah.
That's going to be
for
a very good, both good offenses, both coming off big wins. I think Dallas coming off of an even bigger win with that crazy upset, or not upset, that crazy comeback.
Or the crazy choke.
I think
Crazy choke.
I
Yeah.
think Seattle smokes the Cowboys.
Yeah?
Low
For
key.
sure. I was
Low key.
thinking the same
It's in
thing.
Seattle too.
Yeah,
They-
Teams don't do well going to Seattle
no,
still.
even with no fans.
Yeah, even with no fans,
Yeah.
it's just a long travel. And Russ is on
Yeah.
fire.
Hmm.
I think the Cowboys are thinking that they're really hot, but
They're
They're
not,
the
bro.
Cowboys.
They're
Yeah.
due
They're
to
real
self-destruct.
How about
Yeah.
them Cowboys?
So for my biggest matchup of the week, the one that I picked was the Raiders versus the Patriots.
That's a good one.
I feel like this matchup is getting slept on.
Yeah.
could be
And
fun to watch.
I feel like
that's
it's gonna
okay.
be some old school football because the Patriots and the Raiders are both tied with 120.5 rush yards a game allowed
Wow.
that they allow,
Yeah.
and both teams rely so heavily on their running games that this is gonna be an old school smash mouth football game, and I feel like Cam Newton has a big day ahead of him. Josh Jacobs does. So with the Patriots, they have the number 8 rush defense in total, but they have the 21st rush defense when there's runs to the outside. So if the Raiders can get some outside action for Josh Jacobs, he could potentially be a really big fantasy winner.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think another good matchup is the Sunday night game, New Orleans and Green Bay. That has a potential to score a lot of fantasy points.
Potentially.
Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones,
that
Drew
game could be like
Man.
up in the 40s.
Kamara,
And that's what our fantasy matchup comes to, Justin,
Yeah.
Jared
is
Cook.
that night.
Aaron
Rodgers versus
Does
Aaron
it now?
Jones.
Yeah.
Those are the
Yeah.
last two guys. So whoever,
Wow.
No money.
that's what it's going to come to.
Both 2-0.
So that's a very.
I feel like you can expect the same amount of points from each of them.
It's just going to depend how
Yeah.
how the other days go and the other players do.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Either way, there's going to be a lot of smirking going around.
Oh no, I would
A
hate
lot
to
of
see the
smirking.
smirking, bro.
And if Michael Thomas comes back, that'll be a big key
Big boost.
to New Orleans' game because
Drew Brees needs some.
Drew Brees,
right now.
yeah, he definitely needs. I mean, Kamara shows that he can do a lot, but with Michael Thomas there, kind of
The
give
rest of the
Kamara a break.
offense is a little stinky.
Yeah, a little
Yeah,
stinky.
I would love if Jared Cook went off. That would be pretty great.
That would be nice.
That would be
Yeah,
nice.
It's been a little quiet.
Could pop off, yeah. And then going into the Monday night game, I think it's the game of the week: Baltimore and Kansas City.
Duh.
A lot of points, a lot of
Hopefully.
fantasy points up in the air.
That's gonna be a good game
That's
though.
a target.
It's
You
gonna be a
already
great
know it.
game.
Just
I mean,
seen the two teams.
What if it ends up being kind of a
Low scoring game.
low scoring?
That's
game?
what I think.
The Ravens
I-
have a really good defense, and the Chiefs also have kind of a sneaky good defense.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's probably not very likely, but like
It's just the Chiefs'
depends.
I
pass.
wouldn't be
Yeah.
shocked.
Their pass defense is just so shaky.
Lamar's going to have to make dots.
Yeah,
If
Lamar's
can
making
make some
dots,
throws,
Yeah,
it'll
definitely.
it'll be a high scoring game. It'll be a shootout.
But like the Ravens have so many options too. I like their running game can just blow off at any
Insane.
point.
There's 4 different dudes on that team that can rush for 100 yards. Like,
He could pass it anywhere, but like Kansas City, pretty much the same thing too. Patrick Mahomes can pass it to anybody, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire can run it. So that'll be a good game. So I think we're gonna segment into or transition into our first segment called Chump Watch.
Yeah, you guys
So-
will like this one.
Yeah, so we're gonna list you our players that we think might have a bad week.
something stinky.
yeah,
something
something that could
stinky
hurt.
poo-poo.
Not just any player though. Players you expect something out.
Players
of on a
that
week-to-week
yeah,
that are
basis.
going to be in most lineups.
Yeah, players, that's exactly how to put it.
And I
Players are
think-
going to be most lineup.
Disappointment.
So I think I'll start, and I think I'll go Julio Jones.
Oh.
I know it's a big one
For a
but
third week in a row.
possibly.
He had a good
Go-
first week.
He had a
Yeah,
good
Yeah.
first week. But
Yeah.
Chicago is a good pass defense, and Julio is I don't know. He looked injured last week, and he has a questionable
and you
tag
know he's
next to
going to
him.
play through it.
Yeah, he is. He does not.
That's
miss
kind of the
football
tough
time.
thing with Julio is like it's cool that he always plays, but
Yeah.
sometimes it's like, man, just take a game off.
Yeah,
And who's the number
Yeah.
one wide receiver right now? Calvin Ridley.
Calvin Ridley.
So
That could
we don't know.
transition.
What if at some point throughout the year, if Calvin Ridley is still balling, Like, what if defenses start shifting their defense to cover Calvin Ridley as the
I know.
number one,
he's the number one.
and then now Julio all of a sudden starts
That's what, as a
seeing
Calvin
those
Ridley,
open looks.
I feel like they'll never.
But
No.
I feel like NFL coaches have way too much respect.
Really?
For Julio.
If
You think
Julio
so?
Jones is on the field, like they're always going to be.
Julio's a monster,
focusing on
man.
him.
If
He
you
is.
just look at
If
him
they
on
were
the
to leave
field,
him
you
in
have to
single
cover
coverage,
him.
Yeah,
he'd beast.
he
Yeah.
would. And Calvin Ridley, maybe by the end of the year or next year, they're going to have to definitely eye him. But I don't know. He's still a little bit of an unknown
Those
compared to
receivers
Julio
are a
Jones.
problem.
Yeah, and Russell Cage is a problem too. Yeah.
So I got a potential chump stink.
Yeah.
Is
that-
I think Stephon Diggs might have a little break on the trains.
Boo.
This
Yeah,
week.
come on now.
Against
He-
the Rams.
Oh, you know I love Diggsy, but tough matchup against the Rams with Jalen Ramsey. Probably going to be shadowing him all over the field. Jalen Ramsey's arguably the top corner in the game with Stephon Gilmore.
Yeah.
And I don't know
Arguably.
the way that game
Yeah,
script
arguably.
looks like it's going to go is that the Rams are going to run a lot, and then the Bills might run a lot also.
Yeah,
because their pass defense is a little better, and their linebackers for the Rams are pretty weak.
So are you suggesting potentially it could be a big day for Singletary and Moss?
Or Josh Allen on the ground.
Oh,
It's
That's-
the
Josh
Bills
Allen
rushing
has
attack,
Josh
I
Allen.
think, could potentially have a field day.
See a lot of slants, a lot of dump offs as well.
They just have to figure out Aaron Donald.
Yeah, they definitely do.
So yeah, stinky Diggsy.
Big stinky.
What else? What other chumps are we
All
watching
right.
out for?
My chosen chump is Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill?
Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
Ravens have a tough defense, and how I look at it is that they struggled against the Chargers last week.
Yeah.
They struggled against the Chargers. Tyreek only caught 5 out of his 11 targets. But
So is that
out
more
of character though.
Is that more of a Kansas City had a bad day or the Chargers had a good day?
mixture of both.
Mixture of both,
honestly,
yeah.
But
Definitely.
you never know. Patty Mahomes can make it work. They can
Yeah.
dynamic duo right there.
All it takes is one pass.
Okay,
to-
so that's the way I look at it. The last week against the Chargers, like the offense was so stagnant and Tyreek Hill wasn't really doing much.
Patty was kind
And it was that-
ducks out there.
It was that
Yeah.
one pass that Tyreek Hill got the touchdown off of that
Mhm.
really salvaged his fantasy day for a lot of us fantasy owners.
Definitely.
Without that one play, like he would have been a chump.
At times
like-
he is pretty just dependent on those touchdowns.
He
also.
is.
Definitely.
All right, so for my chump, I had a guy that we were high on last week and that is on my team, and that's going to be Nick Chubb. So,
Chubb.
yep. He's going against a stout Washington front seven, who is currently the number 2 scoring defense to fantasy running backs. And their defense the offense last week against the Bengals, that's as good as their offense is really going to get against the Browns. That's what I think.
So you're sold on the Browns this year? You're not believing the hype after week 2?
I don't know. I'm just saying that this game should be a more competitive game, which is going to be less rushes for Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
And for those of us who got excited seeing that bounce back performance in week 2, if you're expecting those numbers all the time, then I think we're going to be disappointed and we need to temper our expectations a little bit. And I don't know if he'll see 22 touches in this game like he did last week against the Bengals, because it's going to be a tighter game and both teams are run reliant too.
So you think they're going to do more 50-50 with Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt? Or...
I feel like that has the whole year written out on it.
Yeah.
Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt and whoever, they're going to use Nick Chubb to set the tone. But if
Mhm.
Nick Chubb starts the game flat,
Yeah.
then who knows? Maybe they ride Kareem Hunt the whole week
That's the thing that
or the
sucks
whole
with,
game.
with fantasy is because they have 2 really good running backs, but for
Someone's
fantasy,
going to get screwed
for
somewhere.
fantasy, it is a tough situation to get behind. Definitely.
Well, my chump watch, I put David Johnson going against the Steelers, and the Steelers are, the number 1 against rushing defense, and so
They're
I think it's
really
just
good.
simple as that.
Yeah, they
They're
are
just really good.
They're
They
just
are
really
really
good, and so David Johnson. Wow, I am slurring my words right now. David Johnson. I don't think he's gonna have a good week.
Yeah.
Just this week, but he's gonna bounce back for sure.
You think Houston in total doesn't have a good week offensively,
I don't
or
honestly. I have Deshaun in one of my other leagues, and he hasn't been providing the numbers I want him.
Yeah.
And I'm almost looking for a trade for him already.
Definitely.
And I know it's already beginning of week 3, but it's
it just sucks that they're going up against such a good defense?
yeah.
So-
And you got it's kind of tough.
Will
out there.
Fuller,
Yeah.
I mean, he could be on potential chump watch, even though he can't do much worse than last year with a big old 0.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Let me give you another stinker from the Browns, actually.
Oh.
this might be a guy I might chump watch for weeks to come, but I'm kind of sick of Odell.
Yeah.
Oh, your boy.
Yeah.
I'm sick of Odell, and I don't think week 2 was much. He always goes off week 2 against bum ass teams, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a lot coming from you too.
Odell faithful
a
for
little history
years.
lesson.
Years and
Yeah.
years to come until it was followed by years.
Stephon has always been a
Traded
Odell
the bank
believer.
for
Yeah.
Odell. The
Yeah.
bank.
Yeah, but listen, I just don't think you can depend on him. He's not really catching his targets. He's touchdown dependent. Last year, if he didn't catch that 50-yard bomb, he would have ended up with like 3-4 points. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't really think you can depend on him. And Washington's a tougher defense than you might think.
Definitely.
So, yeah, chump of the week.
Yeah. What about Jarvis in that? You think Baker's
I think Jarvis has a better game than Odell.
yeah? That's
Wow.
He's been
It could
pretty
happen.
bad.
Yeah. That is true.
Jarvis will save you just from the receptions.
Yeah,
Definitely
I
in
don't
a
know about the
PPR
Browns this
league.
week. To be honest, I couldn't even see him getting upset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Football team starting out 2-1.
By the Washington
Washington
team.
football
Yes, sir.
team. Could be first in the NFC East. What a sight.
What a time to
Yeah.
do that.
What a terrible division.
What a bad division. So our next segment is called Transcendent Talents. So these are guys that are either going to bounce back or guys who we see are going to have like a bag. Oh, no, it's all bounce back bet. So I think Will Fuller is. I know I just said that he might have a bad game, but he's on my team, and I still have faith in Will Fuller.
You're looking for a bounce back?
I'm definitely. I mean, from 0, even like 6 points, which is not a lot, is a bounce back from 0 points.
Anything's a bounce back.
Anything is a bounce back at this point.
If he gets you over 12, then he did you good.
Then I would be happy.
Then he had a good bounce back week in my
Definitely.
opinion.
Hopefully, he gets a touchdown. He still doesn't have one this year. Which
So my transcendent talent for this week is the guy I've been waiting on to get going for the season, and that is Kenyon Drake.
Yeah.
Here we go.
He's had 16 and 20 carries through the first 2 weeks, and he is not close to 100 yards. But this week they're going against Detroit, who is the 29th ranked rush defense.
Yeah.
There we
They
go.
just got gashed by Aaron Jones last week.
Yeah.
So I think this could be the week where Aaron Jones finally starts to break loose a little bit and, starts
Kenyon
to
Drake.
rip off
Kenyon
some big
Drake?
chunks. Yeah.
yeah,
What'd I
yeah.
say?
Aaron
Aaron
Jones.
Well, no, I meant like Aaron Jones gashed.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I mean, Kenyon Drake he's still doing good. It's just that Kyler Murray is getting so many rushing yards.
Vulture.
Like, he is really
Vulture.
popping off.
I mean, he's not going to get all of them the whole year. They got to give some to Kenyon.
Your bold prediction last week was that Kenyon Drake was going to pop off this week, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to up that prediction?
All
Or-
in on him.
All in on it. All in on that
All
train
in.
for Julian?
I think he's going to finish as a top 5 running back for the week.
Hey, you heard it here first.
Who do you think
Unless my
better?
boy Kyler just goes off, man.
Who finishes with more rushing touchdowns at the end of the year, Kyler or Kenyon Drake?
That's a.
But
it has
hey,
to be
it's a-
Kenyon Drake. It has to
You
be.
would assume
But it's already-
Kenyon Drake,
You would assume.
Kyler
I
is
don't
just
know.
running crazy. out
Something
there.
Kyler's
bad
going
would have to
crazy.
happen for that not to be a thing.
Or Kyler Murray would just have to have a good season. Kyler Murray
That would be
could
an
have
insane season.
between 12 and 15 pretty easily, honestly. He doesn't throw the ball a whole lot. And he only has 2 passing touchdowns through 2 weeks. So
Hey, shout out D-Hop.
shout out DeAndre
Shout
Hopkins. He's really
That man's
really-
being a stud right now. For
Dog.
yeah. Honestly.
All right, so for my transcendent talent, I have Tyler Lockett, and
Yeah.
I'm a stan of this guy. I absolutely love Tyler Lockett. In my opinion, better than DK, for sure. Caught 7 of his 8 targets last week. I think they're going to rock the Cowboys defense, for sure.
Let's hope.
Yeah,
Russell Wilson is the MVP right now.
yeah, right now. Him and DK are in the top wide receivers for the past 2 weeks, so that's a good thing to see. We'll see how it goes.
All right, well, my talent is Jonathan Taylor. This is going to be, I think, an absurd fantasy day from him. So he got 26 carries last week, 101 yards and a touchdown. He also got 2 targets and 2 receptions. Some people think like Nyheim Hines is always going to get the targets, but he's gotten a few during the first couple weeks. And he's going against an absolutely stinky Jets defense and team.
dumpster.
So the dumpster, bro.
dumpster
Like
fire.
that is if anti-Jets all fantasy year. Like do not play a Jet and play people who are playing the Jets. Like that should be your formula. to win in fantasy.
Honestly, if you're a
Yeah.
Jets fan after this year, you're pretty loyal.
Yeah.
because
Shout out David.
Shout out
David.
David. Shout out to our good
David.
friend David. That's the only Jets fan I know.
But the Jets' rush defense is number 26 against fantasy running backs, and Jonathan Taylor is also behind a good O line.
Definitely.
So like this, put 2 and 2 together, this has it written all over the walls that
Yeah.
he's going to go crazy. Maurice Jones-Drew also quoted, and he said he has no doubt that this guy's going to be a 1,000-yard rusher this year.
Wow.
And if Maurice Jones-Drew sees something in you, like you got it.
He was a dog when he
He
played,
was a
too.
dog. And I also feel like this game, we're going to talk about it a little later, but the Colts should jump to an early lead, and they should be totally leaning on the run game for a lot of the game. And I would say look for another 25-plus touch week for Jonathan Taylor.
Would be nice for Jonathan Taylor owners.
My transcendent talent, I mean, I know he already kind of went off in week 2 a little bit, but CeeDee Lamb against Seattle in week 3, I have a lot of praise for my boy. He's from Oklahoma, and that's my team right there.
Yeah.
But seriously, against the Falcons, he has 17 points PPR, 6 catches on 106 rec yards, and he even is involved in the rushing game a little bit.
Yeah.
So
It's going to also help that Amari Cooper has taken some of the heat off of him. and
yeah,
Michael
for sure.
Gallup,
And I
too.
think even like this week, if he has like even like subpar kind of game, I think this entire season he might even just go off even a little bit.
I could see it. Definitely. Especially if you can have him like as a bench receiver or flex.
I
And
mean,
if he's getting you if he's getting those targets, and Dallas definitely has a good enough offense where they can share the ball.
I don't know. I'm kind of sussed out on those Dallas receivers right
Yeah.
now.
Are you?
It's just because there's a lot
There's so
of I mean,
many.
but Dak does throw the ball.
I got
He
it.
does.
He does
I got
throw the
it.
ball.
But I feel like it's hard to predict which receiver is going to pop off any
Yeah.
given week because they're all so neck or head and shoulders like with each other.
That's what like Amari Cooper is in most fantasy leagues, like a wide receiver 2, maybe a wide receiver 1 if it's a deep league. And like
yeah, that's tough.
that's tough because you can get a CeeDee Lamb who's like a Walmart version of them, who I actually think is going to
And can
pan
actually
out.
pop
Yeah,
off.
Nothing wrong with Walmart.
CeeDee Lamb in
That
college
man's a dog.
was very nice. So
And we saw him
you
at the
know,
draft combine, and he did really
I was
awesome.
very sad when the Cowboys ended up drafting him because I knew the Eagles are going to have to face him for years to come.
Ryan, as an Oklahoma fan, how do you think he's going to translate into the NFL after what you've seen from 2 weeks?
I mean, a lot of Oklahoma guys that have come into the NFL have done pretty good for themselves, like Mark Andrews and Kyler and
Yeah.
D.D. Westbrook.
and D.D. Westbrook, even for the Jaguars, man. Shout out to him. But Sterling Shepard, that's one too. But I
He's
mean,
got potential.
yeah, they all have
He'll
potential.
be good.
It
Yeah.
all just kind of depends for the team,
Yeah,
you know.
I think Sterling Shepard needs to get into a new environment.
I think CeeDee Lamb is definitely the best of the bunch.
Yeah.
For sure.
Of all the
Definitely.
Cowboys receivers?
No, the Oklahoma.
Oklahoma
Oh,
receivers,
okay.
for sure. 100%.
He could be the best of the bunch for the Cowboys receivers. Just give him time.
Yeah.
Because he's only played 2 NFL games. And
He's
Amari
just got to
Cooper's-
show me a little something.
Yeah.
And
This
I mean,
week,
compared to what Gallup and Amari Cooper is showing, it's
Michael
like you have
Gallup
to
is
show a
pretty
lot
nice,
to be the
too.
number one.
Michael
honestly.
Gallup is really nice.
yeah. It's too bad.
You have too many receivers.
Too bad they're only Cowboys.
Yeah, I think we could count on Adam Thielen to come back this week.
Definitely.
I think Minnesota's going to be in a situation where they're going to have to be passing a lot. Tennessee's ranked like in the middle of the pack for their pass defense. So, I mean, I think he's getting his 8 targets per game. He can bust out easily for a 50-yard touchdown. Kirk's going to air it out. So, and,
Captain
has
Kirk.
Captain Kirk.
Look at this guy,
Not,
Julian.
even if he's not putting them on the spot, he's
He's not believing a word you're saying,
No,
bro.
he's not. They believe they're gonna have to throw it. That's for sure. So
Didn't they have to throw it last week? They were getting killed so bad,
They were
and,
getting murked.
and
Yeah.
he still was
I think he
whatever.
completed 9 passes.
Yeah, he ended negative, didn't he?
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins.
There's no way he has a worse day than that.
You like that?
I've seen worse days.
No way.
You think there's any way they win, Julian?
We'll get to it.
We'll go.
Yeah.
There's hope.
Yeah,
There's hope.
there's
later in the
something.
show.
Regardless of
That's
that,
later.
though, give me Adam Thielen this week.
I like it. I think one more could possibly be maybe Todd Gurley. I mean,
He's
it's
We
like
gotta
we said
wait.
earlier. His carries are too shaky, like, you don't-
Inconsistent.
inconsistent. Yeah, you don't know what he's gonna get. So if he gets a game where 20 carries, then hey, maybe he can put in some work.
He's
but-
a hit or miss for sure.
Yeah,
I feel like Todd Gurley is one of those running backs in the league where he's one good game away from totally taking over the backfield and the touches and being like
Mhm.
the focal point, and he's one really bad game away from losing his job.
but their backup is Ito Smith. So
and
like,
he's in the
I-
game.
I know,
Like
I
he's
know.
in the game on passing downs
Yeah,
instead of
Ryan
Todd
Hill.
Gurley. He's
Ryan
already
Hill, yeah.
vulturing
That's
that,
crazy.
and it's like, bro, Ito Smith, really?
Yeah,
Like-
for Todd Gurley, a guy who 3 years ago
Yeah.
was going in the first 3 picks of a fantasy draft.
He's my RB1.
Nuts. That is, yeah.
That was tough.
That's for a lot of people. It's their RB1, RB2.
Yeah, if they went wide receiver heavy.
Yeah,
That's
Game
probably
script
the
could
same.
result in them running him though.
yeah,
Yeah, definitely against the Bears. Like we were saying, they could get
Like-
ahead, put up too many points.
You said he got like his 21 carries last week. Like those 21 carries could easily be like 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. So
It just sucks because Chicago also has a very good defense. So
They're getting older.
It's
They're
good,
getting-
but it's
they're getting
not
older.
what it
they're
used to
better
be.
there.
Yeah, they are. They do have a lot better pass defense than run
Yeah.
defense. So.
Because before, if you had a fantasy player playing the Bears defense the year they were crazy, it was like,
There was
I
sit
shouldn't
ups.
even
Yeah,
play this
Stay
yeah.
guy.
away from that
I
player.
need to sit this player.
Yeah.
Almost regardless of who they were. Unless they were a first round pick, it's like, bro, I might have to sit this player. But now they're not that same defense.
Yeah.
definitely.
You shouldn't be scared of them like that.
So our next segment is called Over Under. So, for example, I'm going to give Cam Newton is predicted 20.5 points.
Over.
We thinking
Over.
over or under?
Way old.
Over.
Over. And that's because
Older.
I was telling you guys earlier about the rush yards and
Yeah.
how this is going to be a run heavy game,
Yeah.
smash mouth football.
I mean, hey, one rushing touchdown, and I think 20 points
Yeah.
is nothing.
Easy.
The way
Easy.
they're
That's the
using him, there's no way he gets under that.
Yeah, I feel like that's a big day for Cam. Like I said, big day for Cam Newton, big day for Josh Jacobs.
Yeah. So another quarterback, Dak Prescott, predicted at 20.2 points. What are we thinking?
I'm gonna
Over.
say over just because he's playing the Seahawks, and in order for Dallas to win this game, it has to be a shootout.
Yeah, I think they're going to be coming from behind.
Yeah,
For
it has
sure.
to be a shootout. And like Dak put up a lot of points last week.
3 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, a lot of points. So
Yeah.
it's like 20 points for Dak is low key, kind of low.
Yeah,
Low.
I could
That's
definitely
still a
see.
good day though.
That's a good day.
It is a good
That's
day.
a good day.
I feel like if you get 20 out of Dak, you're happy.
Definitely.
For sure.
What about Austin Eckler? Predicted 18.6 points.
Has to be
Under.
over.
Give me 20
The
dump offs on
Panthers?
Austin Eckler.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Panthers had the
Mhm.
worst run defense last year. They still got the worst.
It's the
run
32nd
defense
right
this
now.
year.
Wow.
I mean, their run defense is
You don't think
pudding.
Joshua Kelly has any?
We're gonna talk about this in the
They-
next segment.
They could both end up
End up
having
with more.
pretty big days.
I think it's guaranteed to say that both of those guys are gonna end with at least 13 points each.
Yeah,
Really?
At the
Yeah.
very least, 13
Yeah.
points each.
I agree.
Because
with
in order for the Chargers to win a game, they're going to have to literally depend on that run game and just force the ball to Eckler, force the ball to
that. That's
Joshua
the worst
Kelly.
run defense in the league. If you're not running on them,
What are you doing?
Yeah.
And you have a quarterback in Justin Herbert who's like still proving
He's
himself.
and he's athletic. Like he can run too.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
th-
He's
that's
not
the
sitting on it.
But still, I don't think they're going to let him throw 40 times a game. So,
Basically,
you
bottom
can
line,
for sure
they're
count
going to
on
get run on a lot.
Yeah.
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 I mean, a lot of
Bottom
run.
line, I think Eckler is good for 18.5 for sure.
Definitely. What about Leonard Fournette? He is predicted at 14.1.
Jameer, you want to chime
I don't
in?
know.
Had 103 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. And
Yeah, we got a
13
Bucks
receiving.
fan. We got a Bucks fan
25
right here to
points
tell
last
us.
week. What do you think,
Yeah.
Jameer?
I still see Rojo getting in there
Yeah,
and
Rojo.
leading the backfield probably, but Leonard has a chance here.
Yeah.
I
He
mean,
got
they
a
did
nice-
sign him.
He got a nice
They want him to
touchdown late in the
Yeah.
fourth quarter too to give him some points, which
Yeah.
is nice. So, you think they're gonna
14.
you think they're gonna be up in the game, so they'll have a good running script?
Yeah.
Or, yeah,
We'll be
Against the
running on them.
Broncos,
Against the
who are
Broncos, too.
depleted right now.
yeah, yeah. I think
It
that
looked that way last week.
But
so
that's
they might get
suspect.
over
14.1 for Leonard Fournette for me is
Touchdown
suspect.
dependent.
he's gonna
Touchdown.
have to have a touchdown
touchdown dependent.
because he
That's
doesn't.
suspect.
He's not a pass catcher.
He
so.
did eat against Denver last year.
Yeah.
Leonard Fournette's a guy, if I trade, like I want to trade for him, but if he's on my team and I have better options, he's sitting out until he like solidifies what he's going to do on a week-to-week basis.
Definitely. It's just because they have so many running backs and so many options in
I think
Tampa
with
Bay
game
too.
script and everything this week, I think he'll have a nice little week.
That's the thing that adds up for him is that game script.
Yeah.
You know?
So wide receivers, Tyreek Hill predicted at 14.1 points. What are we thinking?
I mean, it
Against the
kind of.
Ravens.
I'm going to say under.
I'm gonna say under 2.
I'm
Under.
also saying
He's
under.
on my chump
That's-
watch.
Just
Yeah.
because he didn't look too impressive last week.
But you also do got to think 14 points from Tyreek Hill could be
It's
two,
one of his
two,
two
two
catches.
catches.
That's
I know.
true.
Two
That is,
catches.
that's also true.
And like the Baltimore
Could be one.
Kansas City game is they're gonna be throwing the ball. Both teams are. So
I'm going under.
I'm going
I
under.
could
sticking.
I could
I'm
definitely see
sticking.
under. I think if it's under, it could be like 5 points. Like he could be in for a bad game, but I can see if it's over, he could be in for a 2-touchdown old Tyreek Hill. So.
Yeah.
Give me the over. There's no way he doesn't sneak off for like a 67-yard touchdown.
You,
In a shootout.
you might be right.
Yeah.
In a
Baltimore-
shootout, there's no way he doesn't get one off.
You think Baltimore's defense is letting that happen? They have.
But it is
I think
prime
there's
time.
too much from both offenses.
Yeah.
I think,
It's gonna be
big
very-
offensive,
Very offensively
yeah,
heavy
it's
game.
offensive game.
Is it just me, or does Tyreek Hill always ball out in prime time? Always.
Monday night.
I've never seen him not.
Whenever
offer
he's
for
on
one
national
touchdown.
TV,
I'll
it's
get
like,
exactly.
bro, this guy is fucking killing the other team.
Yeah.
And if that's true, that's the reason you
And
put him
he'll
for
be
over.
going till half.
But I'm still going under. I'm still going
and
under.
Go out for like a 60-yard touchdown, and you're good in fantasy.
Definitely. So the next wide receiver, Adam Thielen, predicted at 13.3, and I'm gonna ask Julian, the
Vikings
fan,
extraordinaire.
the Viking extraordinaire. How are we feeling? 13.3.
13.3 is definitely doable, obviously.
Yeah.
It kind of is the same boat as Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
He could break away for a 60-yarder at any point.
Exactly.
But I don't know. I mean, the way I see the game script going, they're going to have to try to throw the ball.
Mhm.
I'm not saying they're going to succeed.
Mhm.
But the way the game script is projecting to look, it'll be good for Thielen. I think he's good for 13.
Yeah.
I'm going to need that out of him. He's my wide receiver 1.
I think you
Oh,
could
man.
count on Dalvin and Adam Thielen.
I
That-
put him for over.
That's more
Those are
so
the only
just
two guys you can count on.
yeah.
It's more so just like
Depending
can
on Kirk Cousins,
can
that's
Kirk
what I was
show
gonna
up?
say.
That's true.
Yeah.
Will Kirk be able to make some throws and actually play some fucking football?
Captain Kirk to the rescue.
Captain Kirk.
Yeah.
So tight ends, Evan Ingram, 9.7 points predicted.
That's your man. You can start.
He's my backup now that I have Ertz.
You're right.
Who actually we're gonna be talking about.
But
in a little bit,
you
but
rode or died with him
I
last
Against,
I spent a 5th round draft pick on him, and I was very, very high on him. I had some offers, some
Fifth.
trade offers for him, and I declined all of them.
You probably wish you took some.
I probably do wish I took someone, but hey, Saquon Barkley being out,
I
that
think he could be a little better with that.
he could
Yeah.
he could pop off a little bit.
I'm going to go under just because
I can see it for
the
this week.
49ers did get depleted last week, primarily on their D-line.
Yeah.
The one thing they still do have is their linebackers.
Mhm.
Fred Warner is a really good linebacker. He's probably going to cover,
Yeah,
what's his face?
don't know.
Yeah, bro. What's his face,
What's
bro?
his face? That's the
Hey,
guy.
who's
He's
this
kind of
guy,
a
bro?
scrub. Evan Ingram is kind of a scrub.
He's just
It
not.
sucks that
a
he's on the
fantasy
Giants.
outsider, bro.
He's
Who let
not.
him in?
He's not one of those tight ends. He's not one of those tight ends that like goes long. He's more of a
what
very
she said.
mid. Yep, that is what she said. He's more of a mid range, gets like a 10-yard catch. Week 1, he didn't really get anything. In week 2, he kind of had a bounce back game. So I don't know. Evan Ingram 9.7. I'm gonna hope for the over, but I can also see him getting like 3 catches for like 25 yards, which is not nearly enough. So the last guy, Zach Ertz.
Under.
Predicted at 8.9. Dang, didn't even want me to listen to the points.
Yeah.
The point prediction.
So-
8.9.
I'm gonna say it's about time for Zach Ertz and the Eagles to get their shit together.
Yeah.
And I would hope every year there's that 1 or 2 games where Zach Ertz just goes
touchdowns.
absolutely belligerent.
This might be one of them.
It's
And-
against the Bengals, man.
And that's what I'm saying. Like for the Eagles, this is such a huge week. Like you got to get the ball to your playmakers.
Big week for Doug Peterson.
Big week for Carson
Yeah,
Wentz
big
too.
week for those two. Yeah, definitely.
All those guys.
Especially because the Bengals are going to be throwing the ball. Joe Burrow
Yeah.
had what 61 pass attempts.
Joe
like
Burrow was
they're ready
throwing
to
down
just
barrel.
throw it. And the Eagles' pass defense is terrible. So the Eagles might get a lot of points scored against them, which is going to make Carson Wentz.
I don't
They're
know,
gonna get
man.
off to a hot start. They have to. We're gonna see a lot of.
If they don't have any
A lot of
fire in
Miles
them,
Sanders, definitely.
a lot of Miles Sanders and a lot of Zach Ertz and a lot of Goddard early. They have to get
Mhm.
up early.
Jalen Rigor out 6 to 8 weeks with a broken thumb, or
Yeah, Deshaun Jackson too. Like we were
Sean
saying.
Jackson. Yeah,
Deshaun Jackson popping off.
Yeah.
could.
Oh, wow.
So,
No.
which transitions into our next segment, the super sleepers. You want to start us off, Spawn?
Yeah,
'Cause I know-
Deshaun Jackson.
Deshaun
Jackson.
Yep.
That's a good sleeper.
Yeah,
Yep.
that definitely is.
But I'm not gonna go with him. I'm gonna go with N'Keal Harry.
Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah, Julian Edelman might play, might not. Even if he does though, N'Keal Harry's been pretty nice. He's averaging like 8 or 9 targets a game. So
Definitely.
I don't know. It could be a little shootout with the Raiders. How they use him. Cam likes him.
Mm-hmm.
So, I
Definitely.
don't know. Like, you'll hear a super sleeper this week.
Yep. I think my super sleeper, and it's kind of a super sleeper. It's Mitch Trubisky.
Super sleeper.
It's kind of a
Mitchell.
Mitch Trubisky.
Mitchie.
I think he's done better in the first 2 weeks of this season than pretty much all last year. He was
Agreed.
he was not very good last year, and I think
Yeah.
we can pretty much all, even Bears fans can kind of agree to that.
And he's going to have to throw the ball.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember last week when we were watching that game and he threw an absolute dot to the end zone,
yeah.
and we were like, "That's
Anthony,
the best throw
Anthony
we've
Miller.
seen Mitch Trubisky
that was week
throw."
1 against Detroit to win the game. Too.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
He's not trying to lose his job to Big Dick.
Nick.
Mr. Nick Foles, Super Bowl champ. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't want to lose it. But I know Bears fans have been hearing over and over, "Oh, why'd you pick Trubisky over Patrick Mahomes and
Deshaun Watson.
And hey, maybe Mitch Trubisky,
Shows his worth.
silences the haters a little bit.
He won't silence the haters, but he can make them a little more quiet.
Yeah, okay. That definitely makes more
Yeah,
sense.
you could throw for 3-4 touchdowns. Why not?
And they have
Falcons.
a good enough defense too,
Didn't
to
have
where
to.
they can make some noise in the NFC North.
That's a good sleeper pick. I like that pick. That's someone that I really wouldn't be comfortable playing,
Mm.
but that's a dude that
But
could give you
When
some high.
you're looking at
dividends.
who got points Sunday night, you're like you could
You're like,
possibly
"Oh,
be
damn, Mitch did me
wow,
good,"
Mitch
you know?
did pretty good. So super sleeper.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you over there?
Oh, you want to hear my super sleeper?
Yeah,
Dude,
bro, you're
Mr.
next.
Vikings
My
fan.
super sleeper is not going to be anybody from the Vikings. That's a promise.
Oh.
I think my super sleeper is going to be Jerry Judy
Jerry Judy.
this week
Thought about him.
against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Thought about him?
With Cortland Sutton going down and Noah Fant kind of being the only one on that offense really producing, they're going to need someone else to step up. It could be KJ Hamler.
Yeah.
I think he has a really good opportunity as well, but
Fast dude.
I would lean towards Jerry Judy.
Yeah.
He's
I think he's
faster.
just
Yeah, Jerry Judy. Jerry
Jerry
Judy
Judy's
is a
faster.
beast.
He's a more complete
Yeah.
receiver. I think there's a chance he could end up becoming a stud this season.
And he's been getting his looks, too.
Yeah, I think even with Driscoll, it could be okay.
Yeah.
Bro, if Cortland Sutton didn't get hurt, the Broncos would low-key have a scary young receiving core.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like guys that are going to be together and be a problem for
They
that
use those
division
draft
for a
picks.
while.
Deshaun Hamilton. They use those draft
Philip
picks
Lindsay.
for
Yeah, but he's
wide
running back.
receivers.
Yeah.
They have good running backs too. Definitely.
Melvin.
Yeah. Melvin Gordon.
And Phillip.
What about
And Jal.
what about Nick Mullins?
Oh,
That's a super
Yeah,
sleeper.
super.
Hey,
super.
I love me some Nick Mullins this week.
I like it.
Yeah. Why not?
Going against the Giants,
I'm
Yeah.
straight,
yeah,
bro.
you could convince me to take anyone.
I think you would probably need a 20-man league and you would need some help, but Nick Mullins could be your guy.
Hey, Nick Mullins
knows?
started a few
Nick
games last year. Or was it maybe the year before that? But he was not doing bad at all.
Yeah.
At all. You could certainly play him against
If Kittle
some
plays,
teams like the Giants or the Jets. I think you can get 20 points out of him.
20 bones.
20 bucks.
$20.
Give me
20
bucks, Nick
tacos.
Mullins.
Like
Tacos.
How many
tacos?
20-man leagues out there.
All right, so for my sleeper,
Whoa.
what?
I think you skipped me, bro.
Well, we weren't going in order.
Whoa.
Oh, we were
hopping
for a minute
around.
there.
Hey,
All right,
it's
I'll let you
getting-
go. You
it's
skipped
getting-
me.
too late, bro. My
Okay.
feelings are hurt,
Okay,
bro.
It's getting
Okay,
heated in the
bro.
This is
podcast.
toxic.
I'll make it
bro.
quick. I'll make it quick.
Go ahead, rookie.
All right, so I got Justin Herbert. I think he's gonna go off against Carolina. Hopefully. I don't know. I want him to throw a couple more touchdowns to Keenan Allen. I want him to rush in some TDs. That's all I want from that man. Take Tyrod's spot.
Yeah.
Keep the puncture long.
Oh, shots at Tyrod.
That's
kind of
fucked,
bro.
Shots at Tyrod.
Can we
You
talk
better hope
about
he
that
don't
really
listen to
quick
this.
though? Like,
That is crazy.
how
That's
crazy
deep with that,
and
man.
like
So crazy.
you're a team doctor and you punctured the starting quarterback's lung on the Los Angeles Chargers.
I mean, it is the Chargers here, so
That's true.
are you surprised?
Very true.
But
This is a San Diego
I mean,
bred podcast,
curse.
so we've gotten to watch the San Diego Chargers and the LA Chargers
Or just-
pretty much all of our
Or
lives. And
San Diego in general.
yeah,
We
we've
love San Diego.
seen
Shout
San
out the
Diego
Padres.
sports. Yeah, shout out to the Padres. They're doing fine.
Shout out to the
They're doing good for
Shout
first
out
time
to
in
the
a while.
cursed teams.
They'll do.
They'll do. They'll do.
hopefully.
Yeah.
All right, so now I can finally go.
Cool.
I'm gonna do Joshua Kelly 2 Chargers back to back we're going to talk about. So last week he out-touched Austin Eckler 25-20. So that's not encouraging if you have Austin Eckler. But if you have Joshua Kelly, that's all the more reason to play him as a flex. Carolina has given up 6 rushing touchdowns thus far through 2 weeks, and they've struggled to stop the run. As me and Julian were saying earlier, they're the 32nd ranked rush defense against running backs, and they allow a whopping 46 points a game to that position. So those 2 guys, like we said, 13 points plus. I might up that to 15 points plus.
Stats don't lie.
Stats don't lie. So yeah, that's my sleeper there, and I feel like honestly, Joshua Kelly moving forward, if he has a good game this week, he should no longer be considered a sleeper, and he should be a flex play.
I like that.
All the Chargers running backs eat this week. You get a touchdown.
Yeah.
You get a touchdown.
Oh,
Hey,
one
I
and
hope
three.
so. I hope
You get a
Eckler
touchdown.
finally fucking gets on the board
And my
with a
man
touchdown.
Keenan.
And my main man Keenan. I'll wear the jersey for good luck.
There we go. Oh, you mean
Kiss of
not
death.
good. Kiss of death.
So I got a super sleeper over here.
Oh, man.
Super.
And I think you guys are gonna be a little surprised, but Tariq Cohen
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
for
that
the
is-
Falcons.
that is
Okay,
a
so
sleeper. Yeah.
maybe a dump off guy, maybe a guy they can maybe even find in the red zone, or maybe he's a guy that will even just blow up.
Mhm.
Because you never know, he's everywhere on the field.
He
And he
is.
does everything for them.
He was so fantasy relevant like 2 or 3 years ago, and then after that he just fell off.
He
Yeah.
was.
From what he used to be.
Trade him for
Yeah.
years.
Huh?
He used to refuse to trade.
Yeah,
him.
you
Oh,
love
I
that dude.
loved me some Tariq Cohen. I did. I really did.
I'm
not trading him
for nothing.
He was always my number 1 bench receiver or bench running back. and
Lifesaver.
I was like, I'm not trading him for anything. I need him.
And now you can't even get.
And
5
now,
points out of him.
now with David Montgomery there, it's a totally different story.
Shout out David Montgomery, who will
Shout
never
out.
play on my team, even though he's on my bench.
Hey, so let's talk about him.
Yeah.
All right, bro.
Right now.
What you want for him? Or what are you gonna give
Oh
me? for him?
man, it's
We'll talk.
some trade
Okay, we'll talk,
happening
we'll talk.
right here, right now.
Maybe I'll look at your team real quick.
Oh, okay.
A little
All right.
later. We'll move on. We'll move on while I start.
I
looking.
got one more. Super.
Oh,
Three
okay,
is-
okay,
oh,
okay.
shit. All
And that man is Drew Sample.
True
Sample.
Tight end from the Cardinals.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the guy.
That's
I
a
know
super,
people are going to be
super.
looking him up because they're going to say, who the hell is Drew Sample?
What
But
is Drew Sample?
Drew Sample. Could go off.
That's
Never
a
know.
that's a player where on
What,
Fantasy Live it would
what
be like
has
that
you
helped no
mentioned?
one.
Yeah, that helps no one.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, 8 points last week,
Hey,
That's
Bob
gonna be
was
me.
throwing it.
45 yards, CJ Uzma, right? That's how you pronounce it.
Yeah. Uzuma.
Uzuma
Ozuma.
out for the season.
Terminated.
If Joe Burrow throws it 61 times, maybe
Good.
Drew Sample
And maybe he'll
catches
get 20 of them.
Jow
and
Barrel.
maybe he'll get 30 of them. And I'll be looking like a fantasy god, but anyways.
Or a fantasy chump.
Or a fantasy chump.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to segment into or transition into our last segment, the lock of the week. So we're all going to give you who we think is going to just absolutely destroy the other team. So my lock of the week is the Indianapolis Colts over the Jets. And
Bet
Two-
your bank account.
2 words, dumpster fire.
Yeah,
For the
I don't
Jets.
think any
So-
of us argue against that.
No,
That's
that's
One bit.
just a lock. Take it to
Unanimous.
the bank. Yeah.
Maybe except David.
Maybe except
Yeah.
David.
Hey, maybe
Yeah.
you call him and make
Yeah,
a
man.
bet with him live.
Yeah, David.
Yes.
Call in. Call in next week when the Jets beat the Colts and let me hear it.
Wow.
But until then, the Colts are definitely beating the Jets.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, who wants to go next?
Okay, I'll go. So I got Raiders taking it over the Pats. The history really does not go well for the Raiders here. Honestly, Pats have won. Last time they played, it was 2017 in Mexico City. Pats won 33-8. But I think
I remember
Josh
that game.
Jacobs
Mollywop.
and
Yep.
Waller
Mollywop.
and David Carr, they're all gonna go off this week. Honestly,
Man.
Las Vegas
I'm
Raiders.
hey, they beat the Saints.
They beat the
They
Saints
beat
Monday
the
night.
Saints.
Their offense has looked
the Death
surprisingly
Star.
good.
Darren Waller, man, has looked amazing.
Mhm.
Something I didn't say earlier when I was talking about this game or about the Raiders was that they scored 34 points in both their games.
Yeah.
So like they're putting up
Oh,
a good
Against-
amount of
against-
offense.
Against decent teams, too. The Saints and who they play week 1?
The Panthers.
Panthers. Okay.
Ah.
Okay. So maybe the Saints was just
The
a one-week
Panthers are
wonder,
not
but
absolutely terrible, man. Teddy B's nice.
Their defense is rough. But the
The
offense
thing
is
is-
And no
But-
CMC too now. Like
Now it's a
now,
little
yeah,
rough.
now it could.
But I
be
feel
a
like
little-
week one,
back.
like the Panthers weren't.
the
like,
offense
alone.
was not bad.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
So how does the AFC West finish then with the Raiders being like if we had to make a prediction because I know there's still 15 weeks of football.
the
to play,
AFC
but-
West is always like the way I compare it. It's like the NBA with the Pacific Division, where you have the Lakers, the Clippers, the Kings, the Warriors, and the Suns. All those teams, and they're all fairly good, and they just beat up on each other. That's the AFC West to me. Like for the last 5 or 6 years, they've been one of the most competitive divisions in football. Like,
sure.
there's a couple years in the playoffs where we had 2 of the teams in the playoffs almost every year.
But
Yeah.
the Chiefs win it every year.
Well,
Yeah, it's just, the Chiefs
Yeah.
are just so. But do you think they have a shot to compete with the Chiefs?
I feel like the Chiefs 1,000% have the division locked,
Mhm.
and they have it locked for the next fucking 15 years.
Yeah.
Like that's going to be a problem for the Chargers dealing with Patrick Mahomes twice a year for the foreseeable future.
Forever.
Like
and Travis Kelce
fucking
too.
rip.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the Raiders, I feel like the Raiders could sneak in there at second, honestly.
Maybe a wild card.
Yeah,
Definitely
because
a wild
the
card.
way they've looked so far, they don't look like the Raiders of old.
No.
They look like John Gruden actually
New-
got some
New city, new
some
stadium.
guts.
They got a new
yeah,
identity.
and they're running offense now. They're not just some bodies
Yeah.
playing football.
Shout out to Gilbert, Raiders fan.
Shout out to Gilbert.
They definitely have to prove themselves. So
Yeah. Definitely.
Well, my lock of the week
Oh, let's hear it.
is
Okay,
going
wait.
to be the Tennessee Titans
Oh no.
over
Oh.
the Minnesota Vikings.
Man.
Hoorah.
Man.
Vikings are looking awfully raw this year, and I don't see how they improve that team at all along the way. The O line is really bad. The secondary is all really young. Kirk is really bad. They need another receiver.
Oh, maybe they
Yeah.
should have kept Stephon Diggs.
They probably should have kept a lot of people, but I think that D line is very soft at the moment with Danielle Hunter still out, and I think Derrick Henry has a chance to really feast.
100
And-
yards?
Yeah,
Oh,
150 yards?
How about
I would hope
1,050?
not.
Okay.
I would hope not. And like the way Ryan Tannehill has been playing lately, he's a veteran quarterback. I think he's going to pick apart the young secondary of the Vikings, and it's going to be
Right.
a disappointing game, like a 31-14 kind of.
Wow.
Bro, good for Ryan
Gosh.
Tannehill. He looked like he was done and washed, and
Mhm.
like he's revived.
I think
his
it just
career.
goes
He
to show that
revived the
Adam
Titans.
Gase might be the worst coach in
Ever.
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 Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, ever.
Period. End of sentence.
Point blank.
End of discussion right there.
That's it.
Stinky.
All right, so for my luck of the week, Justin, you already know I had to do it.
Don't do it to me.
Oh, I'm gonna have to do it, bro.
This. All right. Let me hear it.
So I am gonna guarantee an Eagles victory
All
over
right.
Cincinnati.
So all Eagles fans that are listening, please. This is Grant's fault. Why we're gonna lose on Sunday?
Yeah.
This is Grant's fault.
I have the biggest curses whenever I make a prediction or say a game is over
Oh, man.
or anything. It's the kiss of death whenever I do.
Yeah.
So if the Eagles lose, we know why. But I hope to God that the Eagles don't lose this game. Because if they do, the media and the fan pressure
Insane.
are going to be through the roof.
Insane.
Through the roof. They recorded booing audio to play in their home stadium
That
with no one
honestly,
there.
that honestly is one of the best things that came from that game was them not having any fans and still getting booed.
My
on.
coworker
That-
was
I love that.
my coworker's an Eagles fan, and he honestly was so like disgusted by that. Like, you
That's
think it's
suicide
funny they
to
trolled him?
Eagles.
You
Yeah.
think it's funny that they trolled him doing that? But like, he was absolutely disgusted that their team like was like, oh yeah, let's have boo audio just in case.
But he's not from Philly, so
yeah,
it's a Philly fans. All they want to see is effort,
yeah.
and they didn't get any.
They're playing
effort.
hard.
They didn't get anything. from
And
that week
and
two.
to me, like, this is a game where you're an 0-2 ball club. If
Yeah.
you fall 0-3, your season's pretty much
oh
in
yeah.
the shitter.
Yeah.
Cooked. And like the Eagles have, like, they're depleted at the O line, or like they don't have the talent they used to,
Mhm.
but they have skill guys. Like they have Gobbert, they have Ertz, they have Sanders. Carson Wentz, as much as people are thinking that he's washed now, like he still has talent, you know.
He just has no talent around him with receivers.
I mean, well, yeah, the receivers, your receivers are.
And they've
Dunzo
been,
right
they've
now.
been bad for a little
You just
while.
got 2 tight ends and a running back.
2
That's
tight ends
it.
and Miles Sanders. And Boston.
Deshaun Jackson.
And Boston
Yeah.
Scott.
Boston
the
Scott.
man.
Yeah.
I love Boston
I
Scott.
just
Wow.
think that you can't lose this ball game to a rookie and to a pretty bad offense and a pretty terrible defense,
Yeah.
and especially for it to go 0-3,
Mhm.
and you being a franchise that you are, and for the last couple of years it was like, oh, the Eagles won the Super Bowl, they're supposed to be good this year, and then they weren't. They're supposed to be good this year, and then they weren't.
Yeah.
And it's like they got to put it together.
Yeah.
This has to be the week where they show up, because if they don't, they're gonna get absolutely eviscerated for it.
They're gonna hear it.
They're gonna hear it.
They're gonna definitely
So
hear it if they
that
lose
should be
this week.
locker room motivation for those guys.
You would think.
Of, hey,
you would
let's
think,
fucking
okay,
come out and smash these guys in the mouth and
Yeah.
win this damn football game.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see.
All right, and my lock of the week, I have Arizona over Detroit.
Yeah,
and
it's a good one.
One of the first things I put right here is a day for Drake
Oh,
with a
yeah.
question mark. Is that man gonna go off?
Yeah.
Whoever you guys got, Kenyon Drake on your roster.
I want DeAndre Hopkins to go crazy too.
Kenny Galladay might be back though. That could be a bigger,
Boost.
And
A
this,
reinforcement
Yeah, a reinforcement
to Detroit.
to
and
them.
the same point Julian brought up. I mean, Detroit has one of the worst rushing
Yeah,
defense
they-
allowed. So
They do.
I think Kenyon Drake is gonna get basically all the snaps.
We should be feasting.
Definitely. see that.
Feasting. It should be
What
a
if we
feast
see
show.
some Chase Edmonds action?
Oh, some,
I
Chase
would sure
Edmonds.
hope not. I don't think there's anybody out there in the world who wants to see some Chase Edmonds action.
Could he be a late
I'm
regular
sure there's some
season pop
special
off?
few out there.
that would be some super times 10
Sleeper.
super
Could you
sleepers.
imagine?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would
Another
suck.
one.
That's the deepest of sleep.
That's one of those guys where you can't predict it. Like a couple years
No.
ago when the Saints played the Chargers and Kuhn or
I was
whoever
at-
it was got like 3 rushing touchdowns.
I was at that
Who the
game,
fuck is this guy?
And I was playing Mark Ingram.
So you
and-
saw the fucking in person.
Oh, and I was playing David, who I was sitting next to, and we were watching John Kuhn score 3 touchdowns. Absolutely terrible.
That's tough.
Absolutely terrible.
That's really tough.
That's what you call a rocking. Good old fashioned.
What about you, Stefan? What's your lock?
My lock is an 0-2 team.
Oh.
2-0 team.
Okay.
Give me Atlanta. That's a lot of offense for Chicago to handle, even though their defense has been stacked for years. But like we said earlier, it's just like on the slight decline.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Atlanta's been pouring in points. They got receivers for days. They got Todd Gurley. I don't know. I don't know if Chicago can keep up. I see kind of a smoke show here. I see Atlanta putting up 30, 40 points.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You think Matt Ryan has another crazy passing game,
I think that's a nice day for Matt Ryan. I think that's a nice day for
even with
a lot of people. in
Yeah.
Atlanta.
definitely. All right. So, does anybody have anything else, or does anybody want to change their bold statements from the last podcast, or is everybody riding with what they're?
I'm
what
riding
they
with
said?
Allen Robinson, man.
Stefan already cashed
I
in.
told you guys on the
He
Dolphins.
cashed in on his Dolphins one, so
Yep, Gesicki caught a touchdown.
part of me wants to
You got
change
your
my
touchdown.
Eagles prediction, but hey, I'm gonna ride with Grant on this one because of
Hey,
death
bless
himself.
up,
I got
bro.
2 predictions
Oh,
actually.
let's hear it.
All right,
Oh.
so first one, I got Todd Gurley. I think he's gonna get 20 points. He actually he has not scored 20 points since week 4 of last year.
Wow, that's a
That's
crazy
That's,
stat.
that's some stats right there.
My second one, this is a real bold one.
Oh man,
Uh-oh.
even more bold.
Uh-oh, he's setting up.
I'm smiling right here. I got the Padres versus the White Sox in the World Series.
Ah, he got us.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's my
a
closing
football
statement.
podcast. Get that out of
He's
here.
been talking about MLB all day. He was
Yeah.
waiting for this.
Fiend.
Yeah, but we do love our Padres.
We
Yes,
do.
he did.
Yeah. Julian, you good on your prediction?
I'm sticking with Kenyon Drake going for 20 plus.
Yeah.
I think the Lions are ripe for feasting.
Okay. Jameer, prediction? Let's hear it right now off the top of your head.
Yep, off
4
the dome.
tutties from TV? TV 12?
Yeah, man.
5
Honestly,
tutties from
TB to
TV.
Gronk.
I think we're about to
From
roast
Kansas City,
Denver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I said 25-point difference, you think they're covering a 25-point spread?
Points.
Give him
You think-
20.
20.
I'll give him 20.
I'll give you 20. I'll take
20?
20.
Give him
Okay.
20
points
I
for
think that's, yeah.
That's a. I would.
Tampa Bay has to like show up and show that they're a contender.
Yeah.
They got Tom Brady
Yeah.
to be a contender, so they got to show up.
Like Ryan said, I think a bold prediction could be we could finally see a Tom Brady to Gronk touchdown this week.
That's what I'm saying.
Ooh.
That's
Tom
happened
Brady
yet?
the Gronk touchdown.
Hasn't
What do you think,
happened.
man?
Man.
Sighting.
Man,
The
Yeah.
Gronk.
that first
That's his
Gronk
name.
spike
That would
after
be-
2 years of
Oh,
not
yeah.
playing is
Yeah.
gonna be nuts.
He's gonna tear his
Yeah.
Achilles.
He's gonna be so
And
happy.
then
He's gonna
before
hurt
you know
himself.
it, Gronk is going to be the hottest on the waiver wire.
Yeah, you're gonna hear Michael Fabiano and
I
all
know,
those guys.
Gronk
Pick
will
up
be
Gronk.
picking him
Pick
up.
up Gronk right now.
Yeah.
Jimmy's
Definitely.
sending trades for him like crazy.
Jimmy, man.
Well, I think that's gonna wrap up for our Week 3 preview. So follow us on Instagram, the Fantasy Football Outsiders.
Ooh,
Whoa, couldn't
butcher
talk
it.
there.
Man, you're blowing the name already.
And
Hey, but you're
then-
reading it. You
And
know
we
what
have
it is.
Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube.
Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube. We got all those up. So
Instagram.
I think.
Shout out Yusuf
On
Jabra.
everything.
We
I think
talked
that
about
is it.
James Robinson.
Yeah,
last night.
Yusuf, get over here, bro.
Yeah.
Pop by one day.
Hey, all the homies, like for real, just shout us out on Snapchat and Instagram. Let's get
We need
let's get
all-
pretty big over
We
here.
need all the love we can
You
get.
can phone in, you know?
Oh, anybody
Yes,
can
bro.
phone
We
in.
just
Phone
tested
in,
it. It
please.
sounds
Go.
good. Phone in.
Please. All right, so
See you.
see ya.
That'll
Tuesday.
do.
We'll see
That'll
you
do.
on Tuesday.
Gunga.
Goodbye.